So what if I told you that one of the most wanted men on the planet wasn't hiding in some remote cave, but was actually a sitting head of state? That he was on TV almost every night? Well, that man is Nicolás Maduro, the president of Venezuela. And this is the wild story of how he's managed to defy a global superpower, a total economic collapse, and a massive bounty on his head. $15 million. That's the reward the United States put on the table for any information that could get him arrested. Now, let's be really clear about how huge this is. It's one of the largest bounties ever offered for anyone, and it's an incredibly aggressive move against the leader of a sovereign country. And yet, he was never captured. So you have to ask yourself, how does that even happen, right? How does a leader watching his nation completely fall apart with a multi-million-dollar price on his head somehow manage to just hold on to power? That's the puzzle we're going to try to piece together. To get how he survived, you first have to get who he is. And honestly, his journey is the kind of thing you just couldn't make up. It's the story of a guy who went from gripping the wheel of a city bus to gripping the levers of power of an entire nation. And that put him on a collision course with pretty much the rest of the world. Okay, so let's rewind. To really understand how Maduro has clung to power today, we have to trace his pretty unlikely path. Because you see, the seeds of his survival strategy, they were planted a long time before he ever became president. Maduro's story doesn't start with wealth or a fancy education. Nope, it starts in the driver's seat of a bus in Caracas. As a union activist, he learned the ropes, how to negotiate, how to build a loyal base of support, and how to play some pretty ruthless internal politics. These early days really forged his die-hard socialist ideology and this core belief that absolute unquestioning loyalty, that's the only currency that really matters in politics. And what's really fascinating when you look at this is just how fast he rose. That loyalty we just talked about, that was his golden ticket. Specifically, his complete devotion to the super charismatic revolutionary, Hugo Chávez. See, Chávez didn't look at Maduro and see a rival. He saw a disciplined, ideologically pure follower. That made him the perfect guy to carry the torch for the movement, and eventually his hand-picked successor. So when Chávez died in 2013, Maduro got the top job. But here's the thing, he didn't inherit Chávez's almost mythical connection with the Venezuelan people. He didn't have the charisma, and even the old guard in his own party were kind of suspicious of him. So his grip on power was incredibly shaky from day one, right at the exact moment the country was sailing into a perfect economic storm. And that storm didn't just hit, it made landfall like a Category 5 hurricane. It triggered one of the absolute worst economic collapses in modern history for any country not at war. You see, for decades, Venezuela's entire economy was basically built on one thing: oil. So when global oil prices just fell off a cliff, that pillar shattered. Now, years of government mismanagement had already made things way worse. Policies like seizing private businesses and just printing tons of money, well, they created a ticking time bomb that was now officially set to go off. And the result was just a humanitarian nightmare. I mean, try to imagine a world where your entire life savings can't even buy you a loaf of bread, where you walk into a grocery store and the shelves are totally bare, where hospitals have no medicine. For millions of Venezuelans, this wasn't imagination. This was their daily reality, a desperate fight for survival. And this number, this represents the human cost. Over 7 million people. That's nearly a quarter of the entire population have fled Venezuela. They've poured into neighboring countries like Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador, creating one of the largest mass migrations in the world and a massive refugee crisis across all of Latin America. So as the whole nation was unraveling, what was Maduro's response? It wasn't reform, it was repression. And this is the key link you have to understand. The economic collapse is what directly fueled his authoritarian turn. He cracked down hard on any dissent, arresting opposition leaders, shutting down independent media, and using his security forces to crush protests. He was making sure that all that social chaos wouldn't turn into a political threat. This brutal authoritarian shift, combined with the humanitarian disaster, well, it couldn't be ignored. It put Maduro and his entire government squarely in the crosshairs of the international community, and that charge was led by the United States. The accusations from the US went way beyond just corruption and human rights abuses. The real tipping point was the 2020 indictment for narco-terrorism. Now, that is a very serious charge.
It basically accuses Maduro and his inner circle of working with terrorist groups and drug cartels to use cocaine as a weapon against the United States. In response, Washington just unleashed a strategy of maximum pressure. And we're not talking about sanctions against a few individuals. We're talking about crippling measures against the entire economy. By sanctioning oil, gold, and the financial system, the U.S. was trying to cut off the regime's oxygen supply, hoping it would make it impossible to govern and finally force Maduro out. Okay, so let's recap. The country is in ruins, the people are fleeing, and the world's only superpower wants him gone. By all logic, he should have fallen, right? And yet, he didn't. Which brings us right back to that central question. How? What on earth is in this man's political survival playbook? And this slide really illustrates his strategy perfectly. He basically built a fortress around himself by shoring up these key pillars of support. Internally, he kept the military and security forces loyal with promotions, fat government contracts, and control over key parts of the economy. And externally, he built a network of powerful friends you see right here. Russia gives him weapons and diplomatic cover, China provides billions in loans, and countries like Cuba and Iran give him the technical know-how to get around all those US sanctions.
And look, it's not like nobody tried to get rid of him. There were mass street protests that eventually just fizzled out. The political opposition was often too busy fighting among themselves to put up a united front. There was even this bizarre, completely failed mercenary invasion in 2020. And the crazy part is, every single failure, ironically, only made Maduro look strong.
All of this brings us to a really fundamental question, one that goes way beyond just Venezuela. When the economy is gone, when public support is gone, when international legitimacy is gone, how does power itself actually survive?
Ultimately, the story of Nicolás Maduro is a really stark lesson in how authoritarianism works in the 21st century. It shows that a leader, through a ruthless mix of internal repression, a system to keep the elites happy, and a few powerful foreign friends, can maintain a grip on power, even when the odds seem completely impossible.
The situation in Venezuela is, of course, incredibly complex, and it's always changing. But hopefully this gives you a much clearer picture of the forces at play. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this explainer valuable, you know what to do. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.